Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we're talking about letting yourself go. This phrase is typically used in gossip. It's like, oh my gosh, did you hear about Jessica? Yeah, she really let herself go. Um, and sometimes it's used in humor, sometimes it's used really maliciously. It's basically a phrase that's used to describe somebody who might have been very attractive or very driven or very focused or productive or any positive attribute that somebody has. They lose it and they've become lazy and they've become this and that, and there's all this sort of stigma, and there's a lot to unpack when you hear that somebody has let themselves go. And sometimes it's tongue in cheek. You go to your 10-year high school reunion and you come back thinking, man, lots of those people let themselves go. Um, or you haven't seen somebody in a while and they're a different person. They've changed. They have adopted different habits. They have adopted different mindsets, different clothing styles, appearances. People get older. This is a natural freaking part of life. It's one of the reasons that ageism annoys me so much, because we hate on people for getting older and, getting wrinkles and getting gray hair and, you know, bags under their eyes and all these things. And we're so vicious when it comes to the idea of just time passing. It's one of the few things that you have absolutely no control over. Every single one of us is getting older, and yet this idea that somebody has let themselves go, maybe they're just getting older. Not everybody can age gracefully, and not everybody wants to, and not everybody has the money and resources or the care to, put that stuff up. But really what I want to talk to you today about is when you yourself think that you yourself have let yourself go. Because this is a really damaging, and it can be a very painful thought. It can be like really hard to like wrap your head around and just be like, man, I've let myself go. When you realize that, when you think that, sometimes it can be the brain just being mean, like your inner monologue, the little voice in your head's going, Jax, you really let yourself go. You were this beautiful 21-year-old who was going to the gym, and, you had a boyfriend and you were doing all of this, and you've just let yourself go. And so sometimes it's just that voice just being mean and just being, self-critical. And that can be very hard to deal with. And I will address that in a minute. Sometimes it has a place. Sometimes it's a valid criticism. Sometimes you think back to your life 5 years ago, or maybe even 6 months ago, or really recently, and you go, man, what happened? How did I fall off my routine? Or, when we age, our metabolism changes. There's all kinds of things like that, and sometimes we look at ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it might be, your career, your relationships with people, and you just think like, have I let myself go? And like I said, there's the one side of it, which is just the internal monologue being really negative. And then there's the other side of it where it's practically like you can say, yeah, maybe I have gained a few pounds, or yeah, maybe I have, hurt people in my relationships and I haven't been the best friend or father or brother or son or whatever. And it can be really hard to come to terms with that. But I think the most important thing that you need to realize is that people do go through cycles. We go through ups and downs, like if you think of a wave, it has its ups and downs, it has its peaks and its troughs. And I think a better way of looking at the idea of I've let myself go, don't tell yourself that. Tell yourself, yeah, I'm currently in a trough, but I'm going to work towards a peak. I'm going to work towards improving myself and working harder. I think this is one of the reasons why the red pill community, people like Jordan Peterson, people like the bald guy who, what is his name? I can't remember. He's the guy who everybody's all obsessed with, about like, you need to work harder, you need to be able to and he's a little bit misogynistic. I can't think of his name, but anyway, those kinds of people are very attractive to anybody who feels like they have let themselves go, because they provide you a ladder. They say, you know what? Yeah, you've let yourself go, accept it, and now work against it. Fight every single day to improve yourself. And while I don't think that kind of strong language is particularly motivating, it works for some people, and that's great. I think a more constructive and a better way to look at it is, if you truly believe in your heart that you've let yourself go or that you have declined from where you were previously, first of all, realize that as we get older, things change. It's a fundamental thing. Some people come to a new country dirt poor and they make millions of dollars and then they waste it all. It's a fact of life that we go through changes. Sometimes we end up where we started. Sometimes we end up worse off than where we started. So don't be too hard on yourself, first of all. Second, start identifying, how have I let myself go? Where are the areas in my life where I have, slipped a little bit? How can I implement real change to fix these things? Is it my diet? Is it the way I'm too harsh with people? Is it my attitude? Do I need to seek therapy? Do I need to work through some issues that have really bubbled up to the surface recently that are really affecting how I interact with the people I care about? It takes self-reflection and it takes honesty, and you have to look at these situations and go, what happened? Because accepting that, there's area for improvement is really the first step. They always say acceptance is the first step in whatever you're talking about, whether it's addiction, whether it's self-improvement, whether it's identifying the basic problem. You need to accept that there is a problem. And then once you do that, real world steps, physical, practical. What can I do? Is it waking up and looking at my phone in the morning? Is that setting me off and really ruining my day? Is it my sleep pattern in general? Am I staying up too late watching stuff on social media? What am I consuming? What food and fuel and motivation and communication am I involved in? And is it healthy? Is it constructive? What was I doing before that really motivated me and helped me and pushed me and made me a strong person that I don't have now? How did I let myself go? What changed? What physical or practical things can I do to fix that? And like I said before, sometimes your metabolism when you're 20 is incredible. The stuff that you can eat as a 20-year-old is insane. Like the amount of junk food and alcohol that can be consumed without gaining a pound and not getting hungover the next day is unbelievable. But it's not sustainable, and it doesn't happen. A few years on, it's not the same. That's why so many people in Canada, this is my experience, so many people in Canada who were the tough hockey boy, they had the great body, the cool girlfriend in high school. They were just the popular kids. So many of those kids ended hockey and their metabolism changed. They weren't working out. And suddenly these people are not the braggadocious, hockey players that they once were. And they are often sort of the target for this idea of, man, they really let themselves go. And it's because they're doing the same stuff in a different situation. They haven't changed. They haven't grown. They haven't introduced healthier modes of their life. Certain things have changed that have altered who they are. And a lot of them are very bitter about it. I have a good friend who's gone through a whole transformation. And he's now in the process of bringing himself back up. And it's awesome to see. It's really encouraging. But he identified the things in his life that weren't working, that he was still implementing like he was a 16-year-old. And he said to himself, I'm not 16 anymore. Why am I doing this? This is unsustainable. I want to be healthy. I want to do these things. And it has to be a self-reflection that you find valid. Don't let anybody tell you like you've let yourself go, you're getting heavier, you're not being a good friend. No, you need to analyze this stuff yourself. Don't tolerate any of this kind of bullying or hate, because that's not acceptable either. And that doesn't make you a better person. That just makes you responding to bullying and getting hurt by it. So I'm not advocating for that. If you truly love yourself and you love your body, you don't need to change, you know? Careful reflection, always important, always a good move, but don't let anybody tell you that you need to look a certain way, you need to act a certain way. I'm talking very specifically about if you think yourself, you have let yourself go and in some area and you're not happy with it, that's what I'm talking about. Don't let anybody tell you you've let yourself go and you've got to change, because you do not. Like, I'm really trying to skirt this difficult dilemma that we have in society right now, where there's a group of people that want to judge and cast people down and persecute and just be mean. And there's also this group of people that want to try and bring everybody up, make them feel good, make them motivated and empowered to make good choices for themselves and their communities. I'm trying to focus on that, you know? I'm not interested in these people who are bullying or bringing people down. So that's why I say, if you feel like you have let yourself down, then that's where you can kick into gear. But don't let anybody charge you up and make you feel like you're not good, because life is a struggle. It's hard work. Every single day, you've got to be doing different things, and you have commitments and relationships and work, and there's so much. So if you feel like you're going great, do not change, do not stop, you know? Careful reflection, great. But there's no need to change something if it's working for you. And that's kind of where I want to leave it. But I'd like to get to a point where we can just stop like talking in the way of, oh yeah, Tiffany really let herself go, you know? Yeah, after the baby, you know, like that kind of stuff is so malicious. And, you know, it might be funny in the moment or fun in the moment to talk about all the people from high school who have changed or become different people, but everyone is different. I am not the same person I was in high school. And I would really like people to be positive and constructive instead of talking behind my back about, you know, oh yeah, he just really let himself go. You know, he's not the same Jax we remember. No, I'm not. And I shouldn't be penalized for it. I'm going to get older. It's going to happen. Getting older is a privilege. You know, I know a lot of people who are never going to get older, and it's really sad, and I miss them every day. So let's just stop using this dumb term of letting themselves go. It can be useful for self-reflection, but it's not constructive and it's not nice. It's not fun. So that's my 2 cents for what it's worth. I sincerely hope that you love yourself and you give yourself the credit. I made a video a long time ago about giving yourself the credit, and that is one of the most, it's one of the videos that's really stuck with me, because it was almost like I was telling myself, like, give myself some credit. I have been through a lot. I've experienced a lot. I'm really grateful for my experiences, but I don't give myself credit for all of the hardship and the difficulty, and I'm sure you don't either. I'm sure that you have been through unimaginable difficulties and hardships in your life, and the fact that you're still standing and that you can make other people laugh and feel good and other people want to be around you, that's pretty amazing, because it would be so easy to become jaded in life and be so critical and disliking of everything, and you're still out here trying. So give yourself the credit, and if you want to make a change, analyze, go through the steps, and who knows, maybe 5 years from now, you will be thinking the exact opposite of you let yourself go. You know, you had a glow up, and anybody can glow up and become an even more amazing person at any age. You know, nobody is immune from the change of life, and that's terrifying, but it's also super uplifting. It means that you can change. You have the possibility to become whoever you want if you put in the steps and do some work, and you know, that can be anything. That can be so open-ended. So I think that's really encouraging, and I really hope that that resonates with you. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you treat yourself with compassion, especially today, every day, but especially today. Let me know what you think about this whole concept of letting yourself go. Your comments always are so interesting. Yeah, thank you guys. And as always, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.